All right, pay transparency laws aren't making it any easier for job seekers to compare salaries. Employers are responding to the rule by posting insanely wide ranges. Netflix this week posted a job that claims a range of $90,000 to $900,000. Well, one TikToker is taking pay transparency matters into her own hands by asking people what they make. Let's take a look.
I sell waters and Gatorades here at the White House.
Love it. How much do you make?
Roughly $3-4 grand a week.
Wow. How'd you get into this?
I've been doing this for about 15, 16 years. I play on a band, and we used to come down here and play, and I saw the need for hydration for the people down here at the White House, standing out here in the hot sun, and a lot of tourists come down here every day, and they unprepared, and most times they get overcharged at the vending stand, so I come at a fair marketable price at $1, and that's what I do.
Wow, water vendor making $3,000 to $4,000 a week. I wouldn't have guessed it. This is why we need you. Hannah Williams is here, the founder and CEO of Salary Transparent Street. Hannah, it's great to see you. So many people love this. You can clearly see it by your massive following. But tell us about this channel and what got you started.
Yeah, so the channel is really just a compilation of street interviews that I film with my fiance as my cameraman. We travel the country asking people what they do and how much they make. Unfortunately, I was inspired by being underpaid myself in my own career. I found out I was underpaid about $20,000 as a senior data analyst, and that really just opened my eyes to how people can be taken advantage of when it comes down to salary transparency versus secrecy, and things that are really adding to pay gaps that marginalize women, minorities, workers with disabilities, and the LGBTQ community. So I figured the best way to show value is just to demonstrate it with strangers on the street.
And you have exploded, Hannah. When we booked you, everyone around the office was ecstatic. They already watched your videos. Why do you think it's touched such a nerve today? Have you heard that you've helped in that capacity? Hope open up eyes or make people more money?
Absolutely. We have helped people make more money. I get DMs every single day from people telling me that our channel inspired them to advocate for themselves, negotiate their salary, or just look up how much they should be making. And these are things that people are not taught how to do in school, even though we go to school for degrees to qualify for our careers. We're not taught Work 101 and how to advocate for ourselves. So I think that why it's taking off so much is people want to be paid fairly, especially in the light of today's economy, and money goes a long way. If we're being undercut even $10,000, $20,000 in our careers, that can really hold people back. And we're paying attention, we're talking about it, we're making moves.
And Hannah, clearly this resonates with so many people. It's a hit. You have to look no further than your most popular video got over 23 million views. I want to play a quick clip from it real quick.
I'm an attorney. And how much do you make? 134. How many years of experience do you have? 8. And any tips or tricks to break into this?
I should say 9. Any tips? Make good connections.
I'm a teacher. How much do you make?
I make $53,000.
How many years of experience do you have?
5 years.
I'm an educator and an artist.
And I am an associate director of family and community engagement. I do social work.
And how much do you guys make? You go first.
Together over 150.
Same with my fiance.
So Hannah, I'm curious, when you go up to these people, how many people are open to sharing this information? And have you seen any difference, I guess, in the trends of that coming out of the pandemic?
Yeah, definitely. I'm so sorry if you can hear sirens behind me. We've got a busy street nearby. But demographics are really interesting. I always say it's like a social experiment every time we go out. We see older generations are less likely to share their salaries or talk about money in general. Younger generations like Gen Z and millennials are way more likely to share. We see more women more likely to share than men. We see white people more likely to share than any other race. It's really interesting how it trends. But usually it's about 1 in 5 people will say yes to the interview. It depends on foot traffic as well.
Fascinating revelations. You say this next video surprised you. Want to get your reaction on the other side.
What does your mom do?
She asks people if they're mad or sad.
Okay. What does your dad do?
He drives trucks with gas inside.
With gas inside, yeah. Do you know how much they make?
No.
No.
I know my mom makes $5.
$5. What surprised you there?
I thought her response was adorable. It's something that you can't even script. It was genius to try to talk to kids from a viral standpoint. I was just really surprised that she even knew what her mom did, because her mom was like a psychologist or a therapist. And, that's the best way to describe what those people do from a kid's standpoint. So she's obviously paying attention.
And Hannah, we also have one of the videos that you said is your most controversial. Now let's see why.
I'm a public administrator.
How much do you make?
$242,000 a year.
Can you describe what you do in one sentence?
I oversee homeless programs for a very large nonprofit in the city of Los Angeles.
That's a big role. And what's your biggest struggle in that job?
Not enough housing, not enough housing, not enough housing.
$242,000 for a public administrator. What were the comments that you got on that?
They were not good. I actually had to disable comments on our Instagram and TikTok platform just because they were incredibly negative. And while we're all about transparency, we don't promote harassing or threatening anybody we interview. That's not the name of our game. So I think people were really upset that someone would make such a high salary and be in charge of a charitable organization, a charitable role, especially housing, given the crisis we have with housing in the country right now. But unfortunately, I think that it's a little unfair. We shouldn't be pointing fingers at each other. This isn't an employee versus employee argument. It's an employee versus employer argument. We should be wondering, what is this organization doing? What is their impact? And how are they validating that they're paying such high salaries for people in a nonprofit? I'm sure that she has incredible responsibilities as a public administrator. And so I think that's another part of it, is sharing, what do people do to make such high salaries? How does their cost of living and their experience play into that salary? And we should be able to validate it instead of just wondering. So it's a great conversation.
It is a great conversation. I'm glad you started it. I hope next time you come on, you can interview me, or we can do this on Instagram. We'll have a little salary transparency.
I could ask you right now.
Okay, quick question.
Yep. How much do you make?
Oh, geez, you want to know how much I make? Yes. I make less than $220,000 a year.
Awesome. Do you feel fairly paid?
Ish.
How many years of experience do you have? How
25.
does that make up? Nice. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Okay, she said. She said it's. I didn't say how much less. Hannah Williams, great to have you. Wonderful to see what you're doing there.